Welcome. We are about to open the door for our graduates to come in. Just as a friendly reminder, I just checked my phone is silenced. Please make sure that yours are as well, please, and we will let them come. Welcome. It's so nice to see you again and to see you in this context. Dear Media, Culture and Society graduates, parents, partners, brothers, sisters, friends attending this ceremony or watching it from somewhere else in the Netherlands or around the world. Welcome to this ceremony. I am the program's academic coordinator, the teacher of one of the seminars in term 1, and I also played some kind of support role during the masterclass. It is my pleasure to host this graduation ceremony. It is my pleasure to see you in person once more and to get to meet all of you here in this room and greet those who are joining us from elsewhere. In fact, I think that we, and let me be part of the we for a little bit, are part of a cross-generation that will always be thankful for the opportunity to meet each other in person. We do not take for granted the possibility of seeing each other live and celebrating together on campus. When we met for the first time, actually, it was a little bit more than a year ago, we did it via Zoom. On September 1st, 2021, together with my colleagues Arno van der Hoeven and Sergio Nguyen, I welcomed you to the program. We were really excited to meet the class of 2022, graduating now. This class brought together people from 17 different countries, including Belgium, Romania, Switzerland, Italy, Russia, the US, France, South Africa, Hungary, Ireland, Poland, Austria, India, China, Croatia, Colombia, and the Netherlands. Wow. I think this was a real record even for us, and I'm using a pretty unsophisticated algorithm just counting nationalities. But you may remember that in that first Zoom meeting, we had a map and we put our pointers on the Zoom map, and then we looked for our places in the world, and the variety and diversity of that map and of the conversations we had in breakout rooms then, talking about our media experiences, locating them in different places in the world, was even richer than the long list that I'm sharing with you today. And that was just the start. I remember some of those initial stories, but above all, I remember the enthusiasm and creativity with which you shared those stories. And indeed, the challenges ahead demanded much of both enthusiasm and creativity. You had 10 months to look for answers to some of the most pressing questions of our time. How is it that the media are so present in our lives? What does that mean? How do the different media work? What are their possible future directions? Where can and should the media take us? Even more important and more fascinating, how can we, how can you have a say in how the media are used and produced, on the ways in which the media impact our societies. Those and other equally challenging questions guided you through several courses, each of them involving multiple readings, engaging class discussions, and in-depth assignments. You had a lot to write, including a full master thesis with your original contribution to the field of media and communication studies, your answer to your own original research question. And in between, you build new and strong friendships, many of which, I'm sure, will last forever. Congratulations. You are here to receive a diploma you should really be proud of. Speaking also on behalf of my colleagues, I can tell you we are, and I imagine, I'm sure, that everyone accompanying us today, very proud of you. We wish you all the best in the beginning of your new careers, confident that you have powerful tools to succeed. Congratulations again, and enjoy the much-deserved celebrations. I'll invite Professor Jeroen Jans now to share some words with us. Thanks, Jeroen.
I'm not sure if this meeting is recorded, so to make sure that there are people. Okay, so therefore I'll be equipped right now. Yes, dear graduates, dear family, friends, let me congratulate first, else I may forget it at the end. So congratulations, that's the first step we will take. You graduated now in media, culture and society. Actually, as Isabel just explained, in building a perspective on what these fields are about and how they relate to one another. I'm not sure how you now self-identify. Do you consider yourselves as a media scholar? That's the most general term. Do you consider yourselves to be a media researcher? Maybe you want to pursue a career in research. Or do you consider yourselves to be a media professional? And that links to the kind of occupation you may have. Thinking about that parachutes me back to the days I graduated in psychology. And at that moment in time, my family, particularly my parents and my brother and sister, were asking me, okay, now you got that diploma and you are a psychologist, but we never heard you talk about patients. We never heard you talk about clients. So what is your occupation now? And then with all the hubris of a young academic, I started explaining to them, and I hope my explanation grew over the years, that the idea behind an academic education is not necessarily that you are trained for a specific occupation. Okay, lawyers are. Okay, doctors are. But even there, I know from working at this university with a huge law school and a huge medical school, they would definitely agree with what I will be saying now, that having an academic degree is not preparing you for a specific occupation, but helps you to see through complex issues. As one of our earlier graduates told us at an alumni meeting, yes, what my boss always tells me, you see the problems before the question is asked. And that is indeed something we tried to train you in, to cut through issues, to make sure that you're well trained to develop your own perspective. And we are in Rotterdam, so we have, as the Dutch say, our sleeves rolled up like this. We always, in almost all our courses, wanted to translate that to to ordinary issues we are confronted with. Training for an occupation would, by the way, be hazardous anyway nowadays, because, well, the world is changing. We're looking at incredible challenges nowadays, and one of those challenges is related to environmental issues, climate change, sustainability. We're looking at changes in the domain of inequality. Social inclusion becomes increasingly difficult, and that even results in war. Who would have guessed a year ago that Europe now would be in war, as some of you experienced during the years of our program on a very personal level as well. So we are in a world where things change so radically that this academic background is important to cut through, to able to see through. And I'm not saying here that media scholars will be able to solve that type of conflict, but living in a world that is so much dominated by media and so much dominated by the messages we get through media, it is indeed very helpful that we have highly educated people to work in that domain. And about these occupations, who had heard of a social media influencer 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, and you can make a living now being a social media influencer? Who would have guessed in the media domain that the President of the United States, the former one, communicated about his political ideas on a completely public medium without hardly any, and maybe not any filtering? That was inconceivable before Donald Trump got into office. So these changes are very much on our agenda every day and every time. And we know that in this world that is increasingly mediated, we know that these media are with us 24/7. And for you, students, I a few times will refer to what we have been teaching. This is about the ubiquity of media, meaning that we have the internet in our pocket, we can take it out, we can access that incredible amount of information, and we know that, talking about ICT, the C is often underdeveloped. Media are used for communication as much as they are used for sharing information, as much as they are used for giving us that incredible entertainment. Yes, we're looking at the Netflix series, we're considering what we do playing video games and all these other instances of using media for our pleasure as well. So we are well informed. But the current situation is completely different from the period when I became aware of what media do. And we have a colleague in Amsterdam who has this beautiful expression, we've been talking about it quite a few times in class. He says, currently, nowadays, we live in media. We do not live with media anymore, it's in media. And to explain for the audience what we mean by that, imagine taking you back to my family life, 1970s. My parents were late adopters, right, late adopters, you know, innovation theory. Late adopters, so we had a television set in 1970. And then, when we had family dinner, we sat on the couch and the television was switched on. And then we watched television for, well, I had to go to bed pretty soon, but the others probably watched a few hours television. Nowadays, we know from research that in most families, they are networked households. Networked households where most people have their own access. It's not confined to the rich countries in the northwestern part of the world. It's also the case in the global south increasingly because the equipment becomes increasingly inexpensive. So in that domain, that mediated world, we can safely say things only exist when they are covered in media. And that's an invitation to all of you. We have a dear photographer in the room, so that's been taken care of. But now is the moment that you are, and all you are, hopefully ready to share what is happening today, this very important day in your life, communicate us wherever you are on social media, whatever platform. Yes, we're talking about platforms a lot. Whatever platform you like, and please keep that well stored. It may also be smart to make sure that you have this extra storage, because I'm sure that you can enjoy that moment, your major accomplishment now, for years to come, because it has been stored in the media landscape. Congratulations to all of you. Oh, that's the wrong one. Waar ben je?
Actually, I'm here just to ask Julia too. Yes. Is this? Yes.
I'll wear it with the cap, so I'll hold it.
I saw that you don't have it really low here.
Yeah, I think it's fine like this.
Yes.
Thank you. Yep. Can you hear me? Oh yeah, this is very loud. Thank you, Jeroen, and thank you, Isabel, for hosting this event and for also giving us students the opportunity to be here and commemorate and also, say a few words in our speeches. So my name is Julia Herkommer, MA. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that yet, but I just did. And I'm honored to stand here in front of you today and say a few words. One of the most fulfilling characteristics of the program that we just finished is the opportunity to bring our personal interests and passions into an academic setting. So let me start with a quote from my favorite musical, Hamilton. Look at where you are, look at where you started. The fact that you're alive, the fact that you graduated, is a miracle. I would say it's almost true. I would argue it's not only a miracle, but also a result of hard work, dedication, hours spent at the library and the kitchen table, the home office, and the support of our peers and everyone else who was involved in helping us getting this degree. During the past year, we all worked very hard. We had our beliefs challenged countless times, while never forgetting that this is probably the last time that we're all going to live a proper student life. So we made sure to also have fun and enjoy ourselves to the fullest. So where do I even start in celebrating this in a 5-minute speech? I've decided to start at the beginning. On Friday, the 3rd of September, 2021, which is officially the first day that most of us met during the introduction drinks at Pardoen, except for the very dedicated pre-master students who spent 2 years on this degree. We started off the year strong with some free beers sponsored by our faculty and some ACE-related promotion from my side. Speaking of ACE, I would like to use this moment to officially apologize for all the messages in our group chat and all the promotion. We were just trying to have a really good time, and some of you turned out to be very loyal members, so thank you for that. A few days later, we had our first class with Isabel, which was a very interesting course that set the tone for the rest of our year. Challenge your hegemonic beliefs, don't believe anything you see because all algorithms are biased anyways, and don't be a capitalist or you will have some very uncomfortable class discussions. And most importantly, always use your agency, especially if you identify as a woman. While term 1 flew by very quickly, we must be grateful for Arno, who introduced us to the idea of the car representation that came in very handy for the rest of the year when we had to do a presentation the night before class. Not that we ever did that, obviously, we're all very good students. Term 2 started out very strong, but it soon turned out that the only 2 things that had to be actually strong were our perseverance and our Wi-Fi connection, because this is when we were introduced to beautiful online classes, thanks to a pandemic we're not going to talk about today. After a well-deserved Christmas break, we got to learn about SPSS, a very useful skill that I think a record number of 2 people benefited from during their thesis process. So I would say qualitative research for president. And this is where the real fun actually began. A daunting deadline on the 8th of February, countless attempts to formulate a research question that is neither too narrow nor too broad, and too many interests to choose from. The thesis process had begun. The charming abbreviation R&R probably still induces some level of PTSD for most of us, but the good news is that if you're sitting here today wearing one of these very flattering gowns, it means that you did it. With the help of Google Scholar, cheap coffee at the library, and probably a few very necessary mental breakdowns, we finished our thesis. So congratulations to all of us. And while we must be extremely proud of ourselves for achieving this milestone, this would have not been possible without the help of certain people. So let me start by thanking our academic coordinator, Isabel Awad, and all the other amazing teachers that supported us during the year. Our program coordinator, Vera Dulemont, who is upstairs, I think, who puts her heart and soul into making everyone's lives easier and supported us in all practical matters. Very importantly, the volunteers at the Smitsa, who were always waiting for us with some cold beers at the end of our study sessions, or in between study sessions. Also Nikki Papilaya for organizing this amazing and unforgettable event and who made it possible that we can all be here together today. And of course, all our friends and families and everyone else who offered emotional and sometimes financial support during the past year. And of course, I want to thank you, my classmates and friends, for making this year the most inspiring, exciting, challenging, and rewarding year of my life. Please excuse the cliche, but words cannot express how grateful I am for the last 2 years, for meeting and working together with all of you, and whether it was during class, while writing assignments together, or during personal hardships outside of university. We've been there for each other through it all, and I sincerely hope that it will stay like this for many years to come. So, while we look at where we are and look at where we started, I want you to also look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now, and lucky to have obtained this degree, to take our knowledge out into the world and make it a place in which future generations feel lucky to be alive in as well. I'm convinced that this degree gave us the skills, curiosity, and knowledge necessary to participate in the media, culture, and societies we want to engage in and shape those in ways beyond our imaginations. Don't throw away your shot, use it wisely, and make an impact in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Yes, we'll start with the proper handing out of diplomas. I managed to do this. Yes. Okay, good. And I'm honored to give the first diploma to Zaida. Zaida. I have to. Zaida, I'm Mark, Zaida's supervisor. Wants to tell Zaida and wants to share with all of us how self-sufficient she was, especially working in her thesis. Very impressive. It's okay, Sarah, he says, to ask for help more than you did, but it also showed your skills and levels. Congratulations, Taya. Congratulations. But you need there. Yes. Anna. Amanda, Anna's supervisor, is very proud of Anna. She says, I've watched you learn and grow. You worked hard and succeeded. Congratulations, Anna. And I am very proud as well, Anna. Congratulations. Patrick. Patrick never wavered on his commitment to research, the thesis project, and his passion to help build a stronger student community, says Paris, and I cannot but agree with him. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Madalena. Madalena's commitment to feminist scholarship drives her inspired research. Her work forces us to confront the need for broad social and cultural change. Madalena graduates as cum laude. Congratulations.
So happy to see you.
Ayanda. Ayanda provides rich insights in her thesis into how South African news media frame corruption. She can be very proud of her work. Congratulations. I don't know yet.
No, sorry.
Annelotte. As your supervisor, says Amanda, I could guide your thesis, but your positive actions combined with critical thinking resulted in a successful outcome. Congratulations, Annelotte. Congratulations. Martin, passionate researcher with a great historical and theoretical approach to current phenomena in the media landscape, says Olivier. Good work, Martin. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Julia. Julia's thesis is interesting and provides a consistent and well-developed theoretical and methodological apparatus. The methodological decisions are well justified. Great work, says Amanda. And Julia, after so much coffee and nice graduates cum laude.
Thank you.
So, he worked creatively and systematically on an original topic that he is passionate about. I'm speaking for myself this time. I'm grateful I could guide and learn with Sohom throughout this process. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay.
You quote me.
Paulina, thank you, says Jeroen, for showing that headphones are not the new wall, but music is because it helps us keep focus in the current confusing circumstances. Music is. Thank you. I think also this happens in the program. I think that it's better for you if you sit again for a while. We have a break. There's a diploma for you, I promise. But we first want to ask Patrick.
Never been told I need a mic before, so that's new. I spent the whole year getting my classmates to like me, and now half of them hate me, so that's fantastic. Really good. Thank you. Thank you for the approval mouth. Hello, fellow graduates, our incredible faculty, educators, and family. I wanted to start this speech off by making a quick observation. Throughout this course, we all learned the valuable insights into how the three named concepts of our program work together, how media works as both a tool to produce and support those in places of privilege and power, and how those with privilege are often unaware of the way those gifts are hoisted upon them and the way they wield them in everyday interaction, which is all to say that having a straight, white, U.S. American male is such a brave choice. So, with that being said, my name is Patrick, and I, along with my colleagues sitting here, am now a proud graduate of Erasmus University Rotterdam. Well, half of them. And I'm also now a junior lecturer here at the department, along with one fellow graduate, working with first and second year bachelor students, which means that many of the faculty you see here today are now actually, in many ways, my colleagues. One of them is literally one of my course coordinators, which is to say that this speech might be a little risky, if only to how seriously they view me as a colleague moving forward. But here we go. As I said earlier, throughout this course, we learned so much from our faculty and also from each other, both academically through the lectures, but also incredible life lessons and skills that are not strictly speaking academic. It is these more informal lessons that I want to focus on today for two reasons. They may last with us much longer, and they are significantly funnier. So, lessons such as, and I'm really disappointed that neither of the people that this is about are here today, it is in fact possible to remember an encyclopedia's worth of Kardashian knowledge and forget your lecturer's name mid-presentation. How to drink Russian vodka without cringing. From my housemate who is here, the pure volume that you can play reggaeton music while you are taking a shower. That being able to safely ride a bike while intoxicated is a really valuable skill in this country, one I do not possess. That puns are a love language. That Hungarian alcohol is, and I cannot stress this, not a joke. It is absolutely possible, and I did not know this I would be presenting afterwards, it is absolutely possible to work in a reference to the musical Hamilton in any speech as long as you wait for it. Wait for it. That no matter how many times I say, I'm Irish, it doesn't make it so. No. Yeah. And that again, Hungarian alcohol, not a joke. Don't mess with it. It's dangerous. So those are truly but a small sampling of the lasting memories and lessons from this year. But most of all, and I hope this means as much to everyone sitting here as it does to me, I learned that I can do hard things. That we can approach a project as big as our thesis or this entire program, this entire year, or just making it through the bad, rainy, mental breakdown days in the library, and be successful. I struggled most of this past year with a raging case of imposter syndrome. I mean, how could I not with such incredible and intelligent colleagues that are sitting here and several that aren't? I spent a lot of time feeling that I couldn't do this or that I could never produce a thesis worthy of this degree. But here I am, standing to shoulder with all those intellects that intimidated me just over a year ago. But I didn't learn that I could do hard things alone. It was only through the help of my classmates, my friends, my lecturers, my supervisors, and the overall support of the entire Erasmus family that I'm proud now to represent. I wrote my thesis, you might have seen earlier, on formations and representations of different types of masculinity in media. That inherently required a deep level of introspection into how I project my own masculinity onto those around me. While I certainly can't admit that I don't have things to work on to be the best person and man I can be, I'm absolutely a better person, a better scholar, and a better man for having done this year and for having met all of you. I'll finish with this. This year has shown me I can be as impressive and accomplished as I want to be, but I only learned that by finding myself standing toe-to-toe with all of you who I so deeply admire.
Thank you, Patrick. So we'll delay the giving out the rest of the diplomas for just a few minutes to award the thesis award. Now, maybe you have been as moved and as distracted with so many emotional things happening that you did not get a chance to really read through the titles of all those theses that appeared on the screen, right? But let me remind you a little bit of the kind of topics, the kind of passions and interests, among which too many of those students had to choose to decide where to focus so much of their energy to, right? The topics you read about dealt with issues as important and as crucial as online populism, political corruption, body positivism, unapologetic female bodies, racism and gender oppression, masculinities, socio-technical imaginaries, transnational media formats, music and creativity. They covered different places of the world, including Venezuela, Italy, South Africa, Hungary, and India. And you will see more of these titles coming and more of these passions and interests, and they will deal with topics as important as transitional energy, police brutality, mental health, far-right movements, queer and humor, war, fashion and sustainability, feminism among Muslim women, video games and politics, and cover other areas of the world, including Croatia, Colombia, Netherlands, and Flanders. You can imagine how difficult it was for a jury to nominate only 3 of these theses. They did it, but all of them should receive the award. The three nominated theses, sorry. And the jury not only had to nominate 3, but had to choose 1. And just imagine how difficult it would be for you to really go through that. We will tell you, or the authors of these 3 theses will tell you a little bit of each of them. Maud.
Good afternoon. My name is Maud van Roesel. Before I continue to briefly explain what my thesis is about, I wanted to start by saying how honored I am to even be nominated for this prize. Now, moving on to my thesis. The aim of my thesis, which is titled To Live in a World Without Racism, was to uncover individual reflexivity processes vis-à-vis racism by older white Dutch people amid a public debate which was largely held on and via traditional and social media, and revolved around a Dutch tradition called Zwarte Piet. Some of you may wonder what the tradition entails. Zwarte Piet, or Black Piet in English, is the helper of Sinterklaas, who is probably best described as the Dutch version of Santa Claus. Like many other people in the Netherlands, I grew up with this tradition and enjoyed the yearly celebrations as a child. However, this tradition was and still is not so magical for everyone. Piet's appearance, until recently consisting of black makeup, curly black hair, golden earrings, red lips, and a colorful outfit, has become a point of contention. What for some is an expression of Dutch tradition and identity, for others is a symbol of systemic racism that contributes to the othering of black people. The public debate that has been ongoing for the past 10 years triggered many people, myself included, to dig deeper and ask critical questions about the tradition and Dutch culture in general. Over the years, more and more people went from loving Zwarte Piet to thinking it was time to change the tradition. So, the case of Zwarte Piet and the public debate it unfolded across media illustrates contemporary challenges that spur reflexivity on local traditions, culture, and traditional forms of identity. For this thesis, the production of reflexivity refers to engaging in a conscious effort to become aware of and address one's unconscious biases vis-à-vis race and racism. However, these processes are not linear, nor are they undergone easily, especially not in the context of hegemonic discourses that have long been and still are present in the Netherlands. Hence, this thesis aims to uncover how this debate and a long unquestioned hegemonic status in society impact individual meaning-making processes by focusing on 2 related research questions. Firstly, how is reflexivity vis-à-vis racism produced by older Dutch white citizens in the context of the Zwarte Piet campaign? Secondly, what role did media play in their meaning-making processes? I conducted this research by interviewing 15 people between the ages of 65 and 94 from Rotterdam, Amsterdam, and the surrounding area of Rotterdam. I have enjoyed the overall process a lot, as it helped me to not only understand the meaning-making processes of others, but also my own. That was all I had to say for now. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Second nominee, Sohum.
So my thesis was titled Podcasts That Travel, Exploring the Transnational Traveling of True Crime Podcasts in an Indian Context.
Let me just see if I can raise the volume. Yes. Let's see how that works. Sorry.
So my thesis was titled Podcasts That Travel, Exploring the Transnational Traveling of True Crime Podcasts in an Indian Context. So similar to how TV show genres and formats have previously been adapted from one country to another, my thesis looked at how true crime genre podcasts, which are particularly popular in the West, might be transnationally adapted to an Indian setting. I undertook this research by analyzing 2 Indian true crime podcasts and looked at how they've been localized to fit the Indian market, while also looking at how they've retained the factors of the true crime genre that have led to their global success and popularity. My experience of the whole thesis process was stressful, but also really enriching in terms of the things I got to learn and discover, both regarding the fascinating topic of transnational media adaptation and also about my own skills and capabilities of having to work under pressure. I'd also like to thank my supervisor, Dr. Isabel Awad, who helped me and guided me throughout the whole process and gave me really valuable feedback and insight that helped me produce the best research that I could. So thank you again.
And our third nominee.
Hey everyone, my name is Sophie, and the thesis that I wrote for my master's program is titled The Humorless Lesbian in the Digital Age, an ethnographic look into the use of humor by queer women on TikTok. I came to this research because I had noticed in my personal time spent on the social media app TikTok that a lot of queer women were engaging in all sorts of humorous content about their queerness. And the research question I sought to answer was, how is humor used to communicate the female queer experience on TikTok? As the subtitle of my thesis might suggest, I used a method called digital ethnography. And a digital ethnography is essentially about immersing oneself into a digital space and becoming intimately familiar with its infrastructure, community, and stories. Although this might sound a bit complex, to me it basically meant that I got to spend a lot of time on one of my favorite apps, TikTok, looking at one of my favorite kinds of content, funny queer content. So for about 2.5 months, I looked at, coded, and analyzed trends I found on this specific corner of TikTok. So without getting into too much detail, my research showed that there were multiple ways in which queer women used humor as a tool to communicate queer experiences. Most importantly, humor was found to be used as a coping mechanism for queer women who take a marginalized position in society. And as I argue, humor also helps marginalized groups of people take back some power that was historically taken from them by their oppressors. So historically, women and queer women specifically have been made fun of by people that are considered socially more accepted than them. But by engaging in humor and making jokes about, say, white heterosexual men, queer women can sort of punch back or punch up at their historical oppressors. These findings and my research in general prove the importance of taking seriously uses of humor by marginalized groups, especially considering that these groups are at risk of being harassed and suffering from mental illness, and more than other more accepted groups in society. So consequently, I think my research can be seen as a project that brings hope and new insights to the queer community. Needless to say, I had a lot of fun doing my ethnography and writing my thesis, not at least because of the personal connection that I felt to the subject matter. And I also quickly want to thank my supervisor Hester and my lovely family for supporting me throughout the rather chaotic journey. So thank you.
The nominees. Yes, please. And the winner is Sophie Simons. Congratulations, Sophie. Special congratulations, Sophie.
Thank you very much.
Here's your certificate.
Wow.
And it's nice that we all share the happiness, right? Because again, the jury had a difficult time choosing among such great theses, and we are very happy for Sophie. Paulina.
Well, hello everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Paulina. Well, I get my diploma, so I'm a master graduate already. And I thought my speech is going to be unique. I heard a lot of speeches. They're basically very similar. Anyways, on one of the first days of our master program, Isabel told us that MCS, short for our program, is one of the smallest programs within media studies. And that often leads to it becoming a very tight community. And indeed, like a lot of stereotypical people say, we are indeed a very small community of people. Come on, it's like 15, 17 of us sitting here. And we are close with teachers, care about their students, where your voice is heard, where students are a group of friends rather than just classmates. And not only we're a community, but an international one, to quote Isabella apparently again, with both teaching staff and students coming from basically everywhere in the world. For around 30 of us, we had 15 nationalities? So basically, almost every second student was from somewhere else. And through our internationality, we discovered the differences of our experiences, as well as perceptions and opinions that others have, depending from where they're from. As we studied the global media and society, our internationality, of course, came in handy for our teachers, who encouraged us to think global, to think about how other societies and cultures may perceive different topics. On behalf of all MCS students, I do want to thank our lecturers, our coordinators, and everyone who helped us throughout the whole process to get here. As a community, we have learned so much from each other, and I don't have jokes like Patrick does, but we did learn from our situations and from the overall experiences we had. It feels like a long time ago, but we did study online, and we did study on a 1.5 meter distance, trying to hear each other through masks, through glitching Zoom. At least most of us know how to use Zoom now, so that's a very nice skill that we get. Besides the global pandemic, there is, of course, so many things happening in the world right now, including the war in Ukraine, the Taliban return to power, the Black Lives Matter, housing crisis, global warming, floods, inflation, and the list can go on. I'm going to stop here. Each and all of these crises has affected me, and I assume a lot of us personally throughout the program. And even sometimes the classes had to be skipped to get a break. Besides the global crises and the pandemic, there are always some personal circumstances as well that come in a way, that again, stress adding on. Nevertheless, we all are here, and half of us, at least, already got our diplomas, hoping the other one will get them as well. This degree doesn't only illustrate the academic mastery that we gained or what we can do in the future now, but it also shows the dedication and the effort each of us put into it, into our theses, into coming to class, breaking down, but picking yourself up and coming back. And wait, I got lost, sorry. No, I'm going fine. Okay, over this year, we also made friendships. Again, as I said, we are a very tight group of friends here. And we did it through closing Spitzer, having Thanksgiving and stuffing ourselves with delicious food, and having library lunches because everyone is there, and so much more activities we did. And I want to thank a few people separately, especially Julia, Maud, and Patrick, who were with me throughout this 2 and 1 years and helped me so much with all the crying and support that I don't think I would be here without 3 of you. Thank you. And now that we graduate, I'm sure that we take these friendships through years ahead, through starting families, through going to work, to marrying, to moving to countries, I don't know, whatever comes your way. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing and whomever you're doing it with, I'm sure that fate has stored something extraordinary for each of us. And on this note, I was going to say we can go and get diplomas, but for the second half of us, I hope you guys will really cherish it forever and go get them.
Santiago. Here, there. Santiago is among the most engaged, enthusiastic, and passionate students I have come across. He's ambitious about his work and goes the extra mile to realize his ideas, says proud Radhika. Felicitaciones. Selena. Selena's highly original thesis, which looked at the effects of witnessing police brutality online, is reflective of her curiosity, sensitivity, and research creativity. Good work, says Esther. Congratulations. Congratulations. Anya, a sharp mind that has an eye for intersections and interconnectedness of concepts. Well done, Anya. Congratulations. Congratulations. Maud. Working with you, says Delia, was a real pleasure, and I wish you all the best in your next professional endeavors. And Maud graduates cum laude. It's a pleasure. Congratulations, Maud. Kato. She believed she could, so she did. Congratulations on your hard work, Kato. You surely know how to never give up and keep trying it and doing it. Congratulations. Congratulations. Brona, working with you, Cecilia, was a real pleasure, and I wish you all the best in your next professional endeavors. And Brona graduates cum laude. Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Sophie has shown herself to be a highly creative, thoughtful, and talented student. All qualities that are reflected in her excellent thesis exploring, as you know, uses of humor among queer women on TikTok. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry.
I was afraid that was going to happen.
Didn't happen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yup. Working with you was a real pleasure, and I wish you all the best, Cecilia. Congratulations, you. Great.
Thanks.
Marche. The Marche's thesis is interesting and provides a consistent and well-developed theoretical apparatus. The methodological decisions are well justified. Good work, Marche. Congratulations. Congratulations. Time to close this ceremony with our hearts really full. So proud, all of us, for what you have done, and so happy of what we have built. And I'm relying, this is what we do in media studies, right? We code all texts that we find. So I also looked into those words, media, culture, society, into one word, because there's so much we have learned from you, and there's so much we continue learning from you. So also to think back about the program. And those words that appear there, they talked about media, of course, they talked about the program being innovative, engaging, and refreshing, challenging, confronting, humbling, interesting, inspiring, insightful, even enlightening and exciting. I'm happy that you feel, at least sometimes when filling the form, as we feel when we get to work with you. Relevant and deep, diverse and community. This diverse community, for many of us, is something that we treasure very specially. And it's a community that involves, Julia, you did the count, I didn't, but those who are here graduating with their cap and gown, those that are not here but are almost ready to be here, right? There are parts of this community, very important parts of this community, who have, for different reasons, delayed the thesis process a little bit. And there are the lecturers who, for very particular reasons, are not here today. It coincides with other activities, but who have done their best to be here in other ways, and who I know are in contact with many of you. And there are the alumni who you have a sense of, right? I mean, sometime at some point you read a proposal, you heard about someone who had graduated from the program, and I'm convinced, because I've seen it before, that is a community that continues to grow. I'm not saying goodbye now. I know that I'll come across you in where's Patrick? In the hallway, in a conference, in an event, when I'm trying to find someone who works in an organization, when I want to use an example in class, but sometimes when you may want to get a tip on something. And the tips many times come not from me, but from me being in this luxurious position of maybe putting you in contact with someone who graduated a few years before, who has gone through that path, who shares interests and passions. It's our interests and passions that help us constitute a strong community I'm very proud of, and which allows me to say we stay in touch. This is not a goodbye. It's great to be part of your community as well. Thank you very much. We celebrate now outside with drinks. It's not the Smitze, but we are doing our best. Thank you very much for joining us, especially those online whom we cannot offer a drink. I'm sure you arranged something at home. And let's continue celebrating together.